USA cotton, and they come in a variety of awesome colors. My 6-piece towel set is regularly $109.99, now just $39.99 with your promo code. So go to mypillow.com now and use the promo code on your screen, or call the 1-800 number below to receive this exclusive offer. Thank you and God bless.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, headlines on SiriusXM anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening. Reporting on the issues you care about.
There's a lot to cover, a lot of headlines.
Lots of news to talk about.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox News Channel.
Still no verdict in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. So what will happen on the ground in Kenosha? The angry mob doesn't get what they were told they were going to get. Full coverage on that.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Here's a hint about how to make working from home less stressful and more comfortable. Make the switch to X-Chair. No matter where you put the amazing X-Chair, it instantly becomes the most comfortable place in any space. Infinite side float recline and dynamic variable lumbar support make the X-Chair a customer favorite at home and work. Don't forget, the X-Chair lets you customize for the same measure of amazing comfort no matter what your size. Join the thousands of others who've discovered the joy of relaxing workdays. Now we've integrated penetrating heat and massage into our patented dynamic variable lumbar support. Once someone experiences our XHMT heat and massage chair, it's almost impossible to get them out. But don't worry, you don't have to share, because you can get $100 off any model on our website. Plus, for a limited time, you can also receive a free footrest. Just use the code on your screen. Your new normal, incredibly comfortable. Call or click to order today and receive a 30-day risk-free trial and $100.
Kim, shut that door, please.
Isn't it time our eyes got the thanks they deserve? For starting with style and flavor, and we're the same.
No.
To succeed.
Let's try to make it not,
Yes, our eyes deserve a little gratitude. And now's the time to show it by enrolling in a VSP Vision Plan. Learn more at VSP.com.
When you don't properly maintain your sleep equipment, you could get sick. Sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning. And as a helpful complement to your daily routine, SoClean 3 can provide peace of mind. Available at SoClean.com and select pharmacies. Visit SoClean.com/where to buy.
The saddest possible milestone. Deaths from drug overdoses just topped 100,000 Americans per year for the first time in history. Now, there are two reasons why. First, the unprecedented amount of fentanyl that is flowing across our border from Mexico. The second, of course, are the COVID lockdowns. Douglas Murray is a best-selling author, political commentator, one of our favorite thinkers, and he now to assess what we're watching. Douglas Murray, thanks so much for coming on. This is one of those stories that will be ignored by and large in this country. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, well, it's just a story that's been going on for years relentlessly, and most news networks and papers just don't bother to follow it. And then more than 500,000 Americans have died in the last 20 years from opioid overdoses alone, and that's been just escalating up year on year, as we've seen now. And the attention all in the wrong places. If you go to any university in America or anywhere else in the West, and you learn anything about the world abroad, and not many people do, you'll be told about, for instance, the Chinese Opium Wars that happened 200 years ago. And you'll learn that means we can't say about anything about China today. And today, China is responsible for an awfully large amount of the opioids that are coming into America. And I'm much more interested in what's happening in recent years and in the last year than I am in going over and relitigating something from 200 years ago. This is Americans dying now in historic numbers year on year.
So if the precursor chemicals, the chemicals from which fentanyl is made, often in Latin America, but those chemicals come from China, we know that, and 100,000 Americans die in 1 year, why isn't the President of the United States, the Vice President, every sitting member of Congress yelling about this? I don't understand.
Often I say it's because they just don't know the people affected. there may be something in that. You can't say that's completely true, this administration, but broadly speaking, they don't know the people in their cities. There are cities in America, I visited quite a few myself, where you just see the effects of it. I was in Ferguson last week and St. Louis, and you see communities that have just already been hollowed out by all sorts of economic forces. And they're hollowed out by these drugs. They're hollowed out by the opioids. They're hollowed out by the addictions and the debts. And nobody cares about that, just like they don't care about the towns after they've been burned out. The media moves on, but these people don't, and their relatives can't move on. It's an absolute scandal that the most important country in the world, the richest, is going through this, and nobody seems to care.
Why does it take someone who's not even from the United States to notice what's happening in the United States? I mean, that kind of tells you everything right there. We're the keenest observers of this country, Douglas Murray. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we've been talking for the last year and a half or so, the politicization of everything. You have the wrong political beliefs. You can't really function as a free American in this country. Well, now it turns out you could lose your banking services without notice. It's not hypothetical. It is happening. We've got exclusive new reporting on where it's happening and to whom. We should tell you we're here at the Patriot Awards in Hollywood in the free state of Florida. You can stream it after the show on TuckerCarlson.com.
Have you ever considered getting a walk-in tub? Well, look no further. SafeStep's best offer of the year is here. When you purchase your brand new SafeStep walk-in tub, you'll receive a free shower package. Yes, a free shower package. And if you call today, you will also receive a free built-in Bluetooth speaker, plus $1,500 off. Now enjoy the best of both worlds, the therapeutic benefits of a warm, soothing bath that can help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and even improve sleep. Or, if you prefer, you can take a refreshing shower, all in one product. Call now to receive our best offer of the year, a free shower package and a free spa-sound Bluetooth speaker, plus $1,500 off the purchase of your brand new SafeStep walk-in tub.
1-800-738-1954. That's 1-800-738-1954.
1 in 15,000 people is born with Smith-Magenis syndrome, also known as SMS. SMS is a complex developmental disorder linked to chromosome 17, associated with severe sleep-wake cycle disturbance. People with SMS may be awake when it's time to sleep, and asleep when it's time to be awake. Visit smithmagenis.info or call 833-433-4331 to learn more about sleep disturbances and SMS and find out what options may be available to you.
Hello, I'm Mike Liddell, and I'm here to tell you about my brand new product, My Slippers. What makes My Slippers different from those other slippers is my exclusive 4-layer design. I wanted My Slippers to have everything you'd ever want in a pair of slippers.
When I first put my slippers on, I was like, wow, they feel great, and most importantly, they have the support that I need in a pair of slippers.
They're comfortable, they're elegant, and they make me feel like I'm at home, no matter where I'm wearing them.
I love my slippers. I never thought that I would have a pair of slippers that I felt comfortable wearing any place, anytime, anywhere.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen now and get a pair of My Slippers. Use the promo code and save 40%. The problem with ordinary slippers is they only provide basic support, have thin soles, and you just can't wear them comfortably all day.
My Slippers 4-layer design solves all these problems. The first layer is My Pillow's patented foam, which will help prevent fatigue and offer you incredible support. My second layer is a memory foam that will give you amazing comfort. And layer 3 is my patented impact gel that will help reduce stress on your feet. And layer 4 is a durable outdoor-indoor sole so you can wear my slippers anywhere, anytime.
You can enjoy My Slippers cooking in your kitchen or relaxing in your home, walking the dog, at a restaurant with friends, or running errands. You can wear My Slippers anytime, anywhere.
What I love most about my slippers is that I can wear them all day long and not have to change shoes. I am comfortable from morning till night.
Go online or call right now to order your very own pair of the new My Slippers. Use the promo code on your screen and save an incredible 40% off your My Slippers order. My Slippers features Mike's 4-layer design for the ultimate comfort.
personally guarantee the first time you put them on, they'll be the most comfortable slippers you'll ever own.
Did you know color is vital to your health? I'm not talking about the color of the walls in your house or your car or your clothes. I'm talking about the color of the food you eat. A colorful diet is a part of staying well because many nutrients are color. The antioxidant lycopene is the red pigment in tomatoes and pink grapefruit. Chlorophyll is excellent for balancing pH and cleansing the body. It's the green in kale, spinach, and broccoli. Resveratrol decreases inflammation, and it's the purple in grapes and berries. Eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables provides your body with diverse chemistry it needs to heal itself and stay well. Eat the peelings of things like apples and carrots, cucumbers. Balance of nature is whole produce. It contains all the vital parts in balance. Color, taste, and smell keep you well. And that's what you get with Balance of Nature.
Start now by going to balanceofnature.com and don't forget to use discount code Fox News.
The Patriot Awards are happening right now on Fox Nation. I'm about to take the stage at the biggest event of the year. Don't miss a second of the action. The fans are pumped to be back in person, and we're celebrating the achievements of our most worthy patriots. Tune in right now on Fox Nation to see this incredible event that will have everyone talking. It's the award show that truly matters, and America is streaming it live. Catch all the action by signing up at foxnation.com. I've got to go. I'm hosting. See you soon.
Welcome back. We're at the Fox Nation Patriot Awards in Hollywood, Florida. We are all in on Fox Nation. And not just because they throw great parties and they're nice people. We're all in on Fox Nation because it's protected from the tech monopolies that control almost every part of American life. But they don't control Fox Nation. Subscription service, we can say whatever we want. We don't have to be afraid because they're not pulling the strings. And that's worth a lot right now, we think. Here's an example, by the way, of what can happen if you're not protected. WePay is a subsidiary of JP Morgan Chase. Recently, WePay decided to deny payment processing services to a major conservative group in Missouri, a group called the Defense of Liberty. WePay claimed the group was involved in, quote, hate, violence, racial intolerance, and terrorism. Were they? No. Scott Fitzpatrick is the state treasurer of Missouri. He's demanding evidence those accusations are true. So far, WePay has not provided it. Scott Fitzpatrick joins us now to explain. Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thank you for being one of the very few elected officials to do anything about this. Is this a violation of the law, do you believe?
Well, I think Chase has the right to do whatever they want in terms of who they do business with. But in terms of who we as the state of Missouri are going to do business with, we won't be doing business with any bank in the state treasurer's office that chooses to discriminate against essentially half the population, the conservative half the population. And they decided to do this. They suspended Defense of Liberty, whose founder is a guy named Paul Cookman, who's a Marine Corps veteran that deployed in the Middle East and fought in the war on terror. And he came back to Missouri and was a state representative that I served with for 6 years. Is a great limited government, free market conservative who brings these events together. The speaker of this next event that we're going to have that WePay essentially canceled and is causing to be rescheduled was going to be Donald Trump.
Hello, Chris. You, man, how's it going? Oh, I'm sorry. How's that? Okay. Test. Test, 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 test. How's that? How about this? Test, 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 test. All right. I'm doing, man. Of course. You know, I had a problem with the little consters, and so what we've done is we've quarantined them for, re-education. Yeah. Cross the line in this place, Skull Island, and get your ass kicked. Just what it is. And if you want to live on that Zilla Island, go ahead. It's a piece of shit place from what I hear. Yeah, it's like having like Disneyland in Taiwan. Who cares? Thank you, baby. Thank you, Trev. Skull Island sounds like a Fight Club island, doesn't it? I love it. Skull Island Entertainment. I like that. Skull Island Entertainment. President Big Sills. I fucking love it. Wow. Did you see? Here, listen to this one. You're going to love this one, Chris. Trevor just said that the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be bought by the Red Sox. Wow. Can you imagine that? So a Boston team owns a Pittsburgh team. Great sports town. Great sports town. Hey, Lemieux saved it. So John Henry owns a baseball team, a soccer team, a NASCAR team, and now a hockey team. That's what I'm saying. So, hey, John, who are you pulling for, dude? Are you pulling for the Penguins or are you pulling for the Bruins? Right. Celtics have won a championship when Kevin Garnett, and them dudes won it, but they haven't been really. Prior to that was the 80s. 08. Yeah. 08, they was their last title, Celtics. Yeah. Yeah, they're both tied at 17. That's correct. Can you imagine this? There's been like a little over 50 years of the NBA, and those two teams have 34. Is it 75 years? Is it? Okay, it could be. I think you're right. I think it's 75. You're right. From two teams. Yeah, the Bruins, if I'm not mistaken, Trev, the Bruins, I think, Chris, maybe you know, the Bruins won it in 11. I think the last time they won it was Orr's teams. Isn't that crazy? Over the last 25 years, the Red Sox have won more World Series than the Yankees. I hear you. Boston Garden, dude. What was crazy about it? There was no air conditioning. It stunk. And get this. How they cooled the joint was the ice that they had underneath the floor, and that's why the floor was warped in many places, was because the Bruins, and they would just pick the floor up. Yeah. And sometimes it would go out and the place would fog up inside. Those are such great arenas, man. I love going to those places. Oh, old MSG? Okay. Good evening, America. Dan Sileo, USA Radio. Hope all are having a great night. Why wouldn't you, right? You live in a great country. I love talking to you each and every single night. I truly do. Here's why. You know, I watch a lot of shows during the day. Mainstream media, sports, obviously. I kind of put it all together. You see, if you have followed me and my career over the years, I kind of pretty much see and, respond to what I see every day. And the one thing that I always look for, and one of my favorite things to look for, is leadership. In a time, in sports where you could tell the really great teams versus the really poor teams, or the really great political leaders versus the really poor political leaders, the great journalists that tell you great news and straight news. I like Chris Wallace, by the way. And I'll tell you why I like Chris Wallace. Because he does jump Republicans' asses on that show that he does on Sundays. He will get in your face. Of all the guys that are on TV today, in my opinion, Chris Wallace at least tries to be balanced. What does that mean when you see and you hear a guy like that talk? You trust him. You see a guy every night making comments. You hear him trying to be as balanced as he possibly can. Do you know what the word balance means to me? It means perspective. If you have proper perspective, you can coach any team, any sport. You can lead any group of people if you have perspective. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you tonight, but there's something going on with this Kyle Rittenhouse case. I want to, before I get into some other things that were said in my world, the sports world here, that I think goes right down lamestream media. And I like saying the word lamestream because it is. And they're politicizing. It just seems everything. Nothing is safe any longer. Everything is race. Everything is gender. It's whatever. It just can't be anything pure. And if a person has a good gesture or somebody makes a mistake, we're quick to criticize. We're even quicker to never forgive. It's crazy. I'm not canceling people out for making mistakes. But there's something going on with this Kyle Rittenhouse case. Follow me, please. I'm not going to pull for any verdict. You know why? I want justice to do it. I want justice to prevail here. I think it's one of the most important things in our country that we have as Americans. That is justice. Okay? Justice. I think the President of the United States, the Attorney General, should do everything they can to make it so that those jurors that are ruling on this Kyle Rittenhouse case don't feel threatened by any group. Don't feel any pressure from any political party. And to do the right thing, whatever that decision is. Why can't we do that? Why do we always have to wait for the disaster to happen? That's what we're doing here. Because we know this. When the jury comes in with the verdict, someone's going to be pissed off. And it's going to create a narrative. Watch this. If the kid gets off, the judge is a racist. If he doesn't get off, woke people and woke media put him in jail. It's almost like Kyle Rittenhouse is a pawn in this. A person died here. A kid's rights potentially could be violated. or not. I don't know. I'm not a judge and I'm not a jury in this case or juror in this case. I just know this. Why don't we protect those people instead of going out and protecting these rioters or these protesters or whomever? Why don't we protect justice? Why are we so not there for that? This is not a case of race. But it's being portrayed like that in the media, which creates a narrative here. They're predominantly white jurors. It's a white kid who shot another white kid. There's no race in this at all. But somehow it's being carved into it. What if this was a black? And you throw that out and, I saw a Harvard professor call that judge a racist tonight. And I'm thinking to myself, you don't know that judge from a can of paint. You just throw that brush and you just throw that narrative out there like that, and as reckless as you can possibly be, I think it does a disgrace to your degree and to your institution that you teach at. Because that's not perspective. That's creating a narrative to one that fits your ideology and how you see the world. That's not justice, folks. That is not justice. It is so uncool, man. We're sitting here, watch this. We're sitting here waiting for a decision. And in that entire process, we could be preparing to bring America together. Couldn't this be a great exercise in our country and how we can forge a relationship with both sides? Let's all come together, man. Let's understand each other's griefs and bitches about this stuff. Maybe I'm being an idealist tonight. But I saw that right there and I said, the President of the United States is failing this moment. Because this is a moment, instead of talking to me about whether or not we have enough trees being planted, why don't we go up there and make sure that we protect the tree of justice? Americans want to be protected, black, white, whatever you are, whatever. Nobody wants to defund anything with the cops. This would have been such a great moment, but the moment's going to be lost. You know it is. Because there'll be chaos, whatever the decision is. This is perfect for the media. Guys, you know what they're doing to us right now in front of us? Do you know what they're doing? They're using us as guinea pigs for their own wealth. Because they know we're going to overreact whatever the decision is to be made. They're using us because they know this. There will be a reaction. And reaction sells. It sells in my business. You don't think, get this, conservative radio will go through the roof. Will go through the roof if this kid gets put in jail. And the liberals they'll go nuts, and the judges are racist. They'll be going for riots. How about this? Tell me something here. So that BLM leader, when he said there'll be bloodshed in the streets of New York, how is that not domestic terrorism? Nobody's going to say anything to the leader of BLM right now, are they? Not when you got a case like this going on. It'll be looked at it like it's prejudice. Right? You're saying there'll be bloodshed in the streets if you bring back a particular unit with this new mayor of New York City. Okay. I thought you were a peaceful group, dude. I thought you were trying to look out for civil liberties and justice for minorities. You think bloodshed in the streets is going to get it done? Wow. I think you missed out on the guy back in the 60s who was talking about don't lower oneself down to one common denominator because he's lower than you. Makes really craziness. It's just, that makes absolute no sense. Had to say that tonight because, again, let me show you how this has now come into my world here. So I was watching another show after I got done throwing up all over the news medium. And I needed a vomit bag after watching what was going on in Kenosha. I heard somebody say a comment today. His name is Skip Bayless. And we're at the halfway mark of the NFL season pretty much, right? And a comment was made by Shannon Sharp. This show's called Undisputed. It's a pretty good sports show. I actually like it. And I think these two guys have a nice chemistry. They banter back and forth. Do you remember that old show, Crossfire, with Tucker Carlson when he was on CNN? Remember that Crossfire? That's kind of what this setup is. It's kind of like the old school Crossfire. All right. So Shannon threw this out. The question was asked, who do you think is the midway point MVP? And Shannon goes, I think it's Aaron Rodgers. Do you know what the comment was from Bayless? Skip Bayless came out and said, well, he disqualifies himself because he's not vaccinated. I was really taken by that. I didn't know it was in your process of picking an MVP. Oh, and he's not vaccinated. I was like, okay, wait. He's 8-1 as a starter. His football team is the number 1 seed right now in the NFC. He's playing great football. They're winning. He's won 34 of 41 ball games since Matt LaFleur has become the head coach of the Packers and Mike McCarthy's taken off for Dallas. But he thought he would throw in a political hand grenade and say that, well, he disqualifies himself because he's not vaccinated. A guy who is a sports talk guy is throwing that narrative. My friends, that's propaganda. That's the stuff you worry about with our media today. That's a great example of propaganda. You know what he said too as he expanded on why? Because he lied to his teammates. Quite frankly, I have never heard one teammate come out and say, I didn't know he wasn't vaccinated. And you know what? Quite frankly, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers were both fined. The Packers were fined $300,000. Aaron Rodgers was fined a little south of $15,000. Everybody in the building in Green Bay knew that Aaron Rodgers wasn't vaccinated. Every teammate. But yet the sports media guy is telling you another lie. But then again, you got to remember who Bayless is. He sold books making the accusation that Troy Aikman was gay. Google it. All you have to do is Google it. Why do you think Troy Aikman will never go on a Skip Bayless show? And every time he's asked about him, he undresses him. All you have to do is Google it. We all knew Troy was dating a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, which was off limits. And you know how I know this? I was there. I was in the locker room. That's propaganda. Aaron Rodgers is your halfway point MVP. He's got the best team, and he's playing the best ball. A wife defends their husband, and we'll take a look at those Dallas Cowboys at the bottom of the hour. Do it next. That is without a doubt one of the places that we have the A people performing at. Calm Garden is wow. Only the great performers. Elton, oh man, right. Oh man, that's Elton Kong. Man, I did that thing, dude. I was so freaking tired. Oh man, it was so. Oh, dude, we had get this. We had Warren Sapp, we had Ed Reed, we had like all the big ones. Michael Irvin was there. It was really it was pretty crazy, and all of us were talking. And I think they're going to air it next Tuesday. They taped it. They're going to do some more taping tomorrow. And then I did another one earlier today. I'm exhausted, man. I just was crazy. I was crazy exhausted. Thank you, brother. I hear you. Let me think here. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Nah, not happening. No, no. But King Kong Elvis did show up, and he was. Yeah. What a douche. Oh man. Kong Martin did. I have no idea. Is that the rumor they're firing Manny Diaz? Hey, Trevor, check that out for me. Yeah. Yeah, right. But what are you going to do in Kenosha? You've already burned everything up. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Yeah, so the media takes it upon itself now that if you're not vaccinated, now you're no longer a candidate for the MVP. They feel that they have that right to instill that. And of course, they're going to lie to you on why they're going to make that decision, even though you're not in the locker room with the Packers. You have no idea what's going on inside the organization. You see, you have to remember something. The media hates when you lie to them, not when you lie to the people. You understand that, right? It's nothing to do with you. They think they represent you. They don't. Most of these people that work in my industry, especially in the sports industry, they're not qualified to talk about doctors' reports or medicine or injuries. They have no idea what to. Half the time when I hear people talking about anabolic steroids and stuff, I laugh my ass off. Well, these PEDs are, steroids, and you're like this. No, they're not, dude. Well, how do you know that? Well, because I read a book. Why don't you try it? Because I read a book. Okay, and I had doctors on with me. Somebody more, more intelligent than me when it comes to that topic, but it doesn't matter. So Bayless is just going, the guy disqualifies himself because he's not vaccinated. What a jackass. Honestly, man. Just that infuriates me. You know what, dude? If that guy were, I started boycotting CNN about 10 years ago. I never watched the network. I never watch it. It makes me sick to my stomach. The people that they have on there, guy having a moment on Zoom, which was so inappropriate with another work employee. You got Chris Cuomo on there. Now you got Don Lemon with all kinds of charges now too. Crazy. Not watching that. You can't even trust your own employees, man. Why would I trust you as a viewer? I don't watch that thing. Got at least, I don't know, maybe I sound just so old here, but really there was a time when you really did have people like Cronkite and them dudes who left it up to people in op-eds. Remember how many times Cronkite would say this to you back in the day? For more information or more opinion, go to your local Chronicle. He's right. That was just not a place for him, he thought, on the air. Now it's reckless as all hell. He could say anything. The news making that Kyle Rittenhouse case into a racial, like it's a black-white thing. You want to hear something crazy? I told Chris O this the other day. I thought that kid Rittenhouse shot 2 black kids. I swear on my heart. I thought he shot 2 black kids. I had no idea. But the stuff that I had heard, I was going like this. Unbelievable. Then I started watching the case. I'm like, this is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I mean, the media today and how we do things, unbelievable, man. So, again, all I know is this. That's why I have my sports world, right, Chris O? Yeah. And what day is it today, my friend? Oh, no. It is Wings Day. It's Wings Day. You buy 20 wings, get 10 free all day, every single Wednesday. Dine in or take out, only at Hooters. You know it goes great. Ice cold Bud Lights, $3 or $4 Dos Equis. If you're in the Phoenix area, my friends, please do me a favor and check out all the Hooters in the Valley area. These guys are spectacular people. They've been friends of mine since I went to school at the University of Miami. A wife defends her husband. And this is a big weekend for Dak Prescott, isn't it? And the Dallas Cowboys. It's a big weekend. This is going to tell me a lot. I'll tell you next. Keep it here on the Sileo Show. Chris, my wife goes. My wife started watching the case, and she goes, "This guy shot 2 white guys." I go, "Yeah." I go, "I know. I just found out a couple days ago," and I was like, "Well, where's the Chris? Tell me then. What's the racial angle?" Okay, but why do I tune on MSNBC or CNN and it sounds like it's a race trial? National Okay. They don't. Yeah. I couldn't believe he poured. I can't think they think that's cool. I I'm with you, man. You just saw an accident at that movie, and this guy has been as reckless as you could be as a prosecutor. You don't know there's no. His dad does live in Kenosha. No, that's what I told Kim. I go, hey, you want to make sure that nobody gets, or that you don't get accused of shooting anybody? Don't show up to the event. I'm not going to that event, okay, because I'm just not going to it. I'm not looking for conflict with that. Big time. It wouldn't have been if you know what, I would have got my ass kicked for carrying a gun to an event, even if I was right. Understood, Junior. Oh man, but Sister Marjorie Fish, man, with her paddle was unbelievable. Was Hey, all you heard was the wind coming. You knew you're tightening the butt cheeks, man. I know it does. Bang! You're like, you hear the wind blowing through the holes, and you're like, ah, bang! Yeah. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. It's always great to, reminisce about your high school days when Sister Marjorie Fish used to get her paddle out. And all I used to remember when I was facing the other way and assuming the position is all I could hear was whistling. Ooh, bang! Ah! Gigantic arms. She had arms like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and she was as tall as Arnold, and she came from a prison. Danbury Institutional Prison she came from. And I used to hear this on the overhead, the intercom that went around Stanford Catholic. Daniels W. Sileo, please report to Marjorie Fish's office. And everybody in the classroom would go, ooh. And it was always like this too, Chris, when you were walking towards her. It was totally like Dead Man Walking. You're like walking towards her office, and you just all of a sudden you just start having this overwhelming sweat come on you, and you're walking, and you can hear her on the phone. And when you walk in, she's got her glasses, her reading glasses on. She's signing papers, and she looks up. She goes, "You again, huh?" And she's saying, and I'm going like, "Yes, Sister Fish." And she goes, "So you refuse to wear this tie, right?" I go, "No." Well, she goes, "Why was your tie wrapped around your head, Dan? How many times has the nuns?" What? Oh, I had to wear a tie every day. Oh, yeah. I was like completely incomplete. Oh, listen, man. I did it when I was get this. I did it when I was getting communion. And so, I was. Father Bob goes, "Dan, you guys." Father Bob, by the way, Father Bob's one of the greatest fathers of all time. I don't want to. Yeah, he's the Newtown Monsignor. Yes. So back then, Father Bob was really cool, and he goes, "I think Sister Fish saw you with the tie around your head. Know this, I didn't narc you out." And this is Father Bob going, "I didn't narc you." No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. He's no way. Yes, he better, because he married me and my old lady. Yeah. Yeah, no, he better be. So anyway, yeah, I walk in, she's looking down at her papers, she's signing, and Sister Judith O'Connor's our principal. She walks in, she goes, so I got Sister Judith O'Connor. Yes, Judith O'Connor. And I think she may have even been my aunt's principal too. So Sister Judith walks in and she goes like this: "How many times have we told you about this tie thing?" And I go, "Numerous, sister." She goes, "You know what your grandfather told us to do? You can hit him as many times as you want." So wait a minute. And Sister Judith, I almost just passed out because I know. And then Sister Fish goes like this. She's like, "So what do you think I should do here?" "Well, I think you should give me a pass." and she goes like this: "Well, why should I give you a pass?" I said, "Well, I'm a happy person. And, and I just love Catholic High. And I just want you to know that all I was doing was celebrating Jesus Christ and, the Beatitudes and everything and why we're here and all of this." Sister Fish is nodding her head, and Sister Judith looks at me, and they both go like this to me. She goes, "I'll tell you something. If you don't make it in sports, you should sell cars." And I said, then Sister Judith looked over at Marjorie Fish, and she looked at me, and she goes, "Well, I'll be leaving now, Dan." And I went, "Oh God." So Sister Fish gets up, and it's like a violin case. This paddle is in a violin case, like set up like she's Machine Gun Kelly. Okay. All of a sudden you hear this. You hear like these, like a violin case. This thing opens up and you see this walnut paddle. And get this, it's got notches on it. Hey, and by the way, it's got a marble handle. It's a custom paddle, is my point. And every time I saw that thing, I would do this, dude. Why do I feel like I'm being stung by bees? Over and over and over again. I felt like my sciatica went through my entire body, not just my left side. No, she hired this henchman from the prison. Sister Judith hired this henchman nun from Danbury Institution, and she comes rolling in. She was the dean of discipline at Danbury Jail, and she comes over to our school, and so she's like, "How many times is this now you've been in here for discipline?" I said, "It's going on 10, sister." "Okay, well, here's the deal here. Assume the position." And I'm sitting there and I'm going like, "Man, she hit me 3 times. And I'll tell you what, I thought marbles fell out of my mouth." Dude, I was so stunned, man, and it hurt. Let's see. My sophomore year, so I would say I was 14, 15, something like that. Didn't matter with her. She's 6'1" and had guns like Arnold Schwarzenegger, bro. Oh, and about 168. No. Bro, this thing is 6'1", 168. I mean, she's tipping middleweight, heavyweight. She's in there, and her pipes are huge. And of course, she was wearing the nun thing on top. Didn't matter. And by the way, the habit never moved. It was just flawless, man. I've never seen a woman spank more people in my life. She was a serial spanker. I mean, because we had a bunch of guys that were nuts in our school at the time, and she was brought in to clean up the discipline because kids were starting to wear sneakers, and we were not allowed to wear sneakers. The only thing they stopped making us do was we didn't have to wear our jackets anymore with our logo on it. Yeah, so they left us off the hook with that. Yeah. 3 to be exact. Wow. Oh my God. I walk in my grandfather's house. He starts laughing at me. He goes like this. I told her to beat your ass. Oh, I'm not getting. Oh my God. You think I'm walking into my house and there's going to be any sympathy for this? Absolutely. Oh, no. Wasn't anything like that. They scream at me. Okay. It was more screaming at me about, like, you're talking about the nuns and you're talking about how Jesus Christ, and you've got the thing tied around your head during communion. I go, yeah. He goes, did you actually say, give me another one, Father, because I had a hard day? And I say, yeah, I did. But Father Bob would give it to me. He'd give me a shelf of them. He'd give me about 7 wafers and go, you need them. Yeah, did he get a little wine? It was all good at 9:30 in the morning. Hey, watch this. Hey, about 6 wafers in a bottle of, and a glass of wine before. My aunt's having a heart attack right now, just so you know. By the way, I love going to Catholic High. Don't think I didn't. No, I had a fun ass time going to that school. And they all loved me. No. This was in Stamford, Connecticut. Unfortunately, dude, you hear this? Last year they closed the school, man, because of COVID and money, and they had to. Get this too, man. It's one of the greatest historical sports high schools in the state of Connecticut. I played on a high school football team that had 3 future pro football players on it, and we only dressed out 35 guys. And we would win state championships. It was crazy great. Hey, that's exactly, Chris. Because I was on the kickoff return. I did everything. You were never sitting down when you played there, man. You were never on the bench. We did the Friday Mass. Oh, yeah. No. I needed a pad, or I had to put like a sweater because the heinies were hot back. But and I had to do communion every day. We did it at right after homeroom. We would go and get communion. By the way, I loved even Sister Fish. I loved them all. They were all great. And by the way, I used to always say to her, "Hey, sister, I know I've been in here a few times. Nothing personal." Yeah, it'd be like that, man. And you know what it was like? A scene out of it was a scene. Let me see. It was like, I'm trying to think of that. What's the name of that? You know, what's the name of that movie? Raising Arizona. Yeah, it was like that, man. It was a lot of fun. Oof. Hey, let me tell you what my aunt did one time. Oh, wait, one more, and I'll move on, I promise. So my high school coach, my assistant coach, his name is Mickey Leone. One of the legendary, Bobby Valentine and him were this guy was really just a legend. They named a ballpark after him at Stanford. It was Kibeta Stadium, this and that. So, but Mickey, he used to always say crap like this to me. Hey, Sileo, you're nothing but a boy in a man's body. Like all that kind of crap, right? And I'm sitting there going like this. Okay, Mickey, I get it, man. He goes, you think you could take me? And I'm looking at him and I'm going like, no, Mick, I don't think I can. Mick, I thought I was coach. I said, well, right now you're Mickey to me because you're threatening me. And he goes like this. He goes, you want a piece of me, boy? He goes like this. Watch this. He goes, you want a piece? I'm like 15 years old, 16 years old. He goes, hey, boy, you want a piece of me? I won't disappoint you. And I go like this. And I go, man, I could kill this old guy. I just sat there and I went. So then my aunt, I see out of the corner of my eye. No. Watch this. So my aunt is sprinting like she's Carl Lewis. She comes over and I think she grabbed the guy. Don't you ever do it, you son of a... So Mickey, after this scene, I'm going like, this is a train wreck here, man. So I go in. Mickey comes to me the next day. He goes, hey, man. I go, Mick, I'm so sorry, man. He goes, no, man. He goes, she really shook me up. I was like, I was shook up too, Mick. I didn't know when she was came. I'd never seen that before. No, this was just her, me, and Mickey. Completely. You know what? My wife has these blinders on too. Sometimes with my daughter, if anybody says anything or touches Danielle, my wife's got blinders on. My aunt had blinders on. There could have been 700,000 people there. The Roman Coliseum could have been filled. It wouldn't have mattered. She wouldn't have noticed it, right? It would. She didn't give a crap who was standing next to anybody. There could have been. Watch this. There could have been a convention of nuns. It wouldn't have mattered. Okay, she grabs this guy. Yeah, but I swear to you, the next day, Mickey snapped. My aunt snapped. She's capable of snapping at any time. I've seen it a few times, but and by the way, Mickey's a legendary, like high school. He's won like I think 10 hockey state championships. I know I played on his baseball team too. Won like 8 state championships. Won numerous high school football state championships because Mickey was a All-American himself. He was a great player. As you can tell, my friends here, we have a good time here, man. We tell war stories and we tell sports stories. I love them both here. By the way, he's right. Podcasterwarehouse.com is your place. If you're looking to build up a place for you to have yourself a home studio, this is your place. 25% off of everything. Okay? Podcasterwarehouse.com. Shipping is free. Microphones, processors, computers, anything you need. That's podcasterwarehouse.com. I swear I will get to Dak Prescott, a wife defending her husband. We'll do it all next. You keep it on the Sileo Show. I know. And it hits you in the head because it hurts. Wow. Gone. Oh, I don't know yet. I'll catch it later. I know. That's right. They never had heat. That's funny you say that. Oh man, and I'll tell you this though. Honest to God, I love going there. I oh man, our you know what? We had the best cooks at my high school. I never had shitty food in my high school. And we never did. They made great sandwiches. They made great meatballs, wedges. It was great, dude. Oh, it was good food, man. Yeah. They were great cooks. Wow. Yeah, that would probably do it. Yeah, that would probably do it. We'll probably do it. Hey, on the garbage company. Hey, on the garbage company. Yeah. Bergen trash and cans. What do you want from me, man? Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Thank you for coming aboard. And thank you for indulging me too, for the record. Oh boy. Thank you so much. All right, let me get to this here. So you think this is one of the funniest stories I've heard. And you know what? I don't know how I felt about it. Tell me how you would feel about this. So Monday night, the Rams were playing against the 49ers. 49ers are not having a good year, but it saved their season. They absolutely beat the pants off the Rams, right? So the starting quarterback for the Rams, his name is Matthew Stafford. Well, they were playing at home at SoFi in LA. And Matthew Stafford's wife was in the stands. And people started realizing who was sitting in front of them. It was Stafford's wife and a couple family members. All of a sudden, this guy behind her starts talking trash. This guy sucks. This guy's no good. Look at him. He's a bum. We paid all this money. Are you kidding me? This guy couldn't lead us to the toilet bowl. Oh, the Super Bowl. Start talking trash. Did it for about 3 quarters. Finally, he starts talking, going like this. Hey, dude, you need to apologize to people. You and your crappy ass family. She stood up. She was eating a pretzel with mustard on it, and she hits this guy in the face with it. I'm kidding you. How do you feel about that? Now, look, I'm sorry. Somebody goes like this. This is battery with a pretzel, I guess. To me, I find that hot. I don't know why, but to me, I think that's cool. But of course, she had to apologize, and she's like, yeah, I lost my cool, and they're taking all kinds of heat for it, man. Yeah, she stood up, and the guy too. Yeah, she stood up because she couldn't take it. The team stunk last night, and she hit me in the head with a pretzel. I was like, man. He was assaulted and insulted, Chris. Yes. He was assaulted and insulted. I'd be like this. Guy, you deserve that. Now, look, do I think you should throw things at fans in the stands? No. But what do you expect? It's the dude's wife. Give her a break. All she's doing there is She's just defending her guy. Oh, man. Lighten up just a tad bit of it, and they're killing her. Oh, man, this just shows you a lack of class. And you're like, no, it doesn't. To me, it shows somebody with great passion and is in somebody's corner all the time. Okay? All the crap that he took in Detroit, she goes, I need to be better. She probably does. But at the end of the day, come on, guys. All right. Let me say this to you about this Dallas Cowboy team. I said it to you a couple nights ago. Cowboys just might be the best team in the NFL. Would we not agree? If the Dallas Cowboys win versus Kansas City this weekend and beat those Chiefs, you're beating Patrick Mahomes. If Dak beats Patrick Mahomes this weekend and the Cowboys run that record to 8-2, I don't know, guys. That would be a benchmark win for that franchise. Jerry so much has said that today, too. That would be a statement win because you're talking about a football team that's gone to 3 straight AFC championship games. I know they're struggling this year. I think they've kind of turned a corner a little bit. But if Dak beats Patrick Mahomes and you run your record that high and you're in the conversation and you're battling it out with the Packers and the Cowboys for home field advantage, Dallas is doing something special. This is the first year in 27 years I've said that about the Dallas Cowboys. This win or this game this weekend, this potential win, in my opinion, will tell us all we need to know if Dallas is real or not. I think the NFL is as competitive as I've ever seen, too. I mean, it's a thin line of the great teams because I don't think there's a lot this year. And there's a thin line for really the crappy teams. And everybody else is kind of like in the mix. You know what I mean? Dallas could tell us a lot about what's going on here with that football team. All right. I'm going to take a look at where teams are right now this time of the schedule. And a coach may need to resign. We'll reset. You keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Be right back, bro. Yeah, destroying food. Oh yeah. Oh my God, it's a big feast day. Yes, but our floats are real. I mean, we stick these dudes and stick them up there, and they don't fly. We shoot them. Yeah, the bird is part of the meal. Oh, by the way, yeah, at the end, our turkeys that fly, we shoot them when we eat them at the end of the day. Nothing's wasted in Skull Island. Yeah, pumpkin Kong pie is a good. It's a big winner, you know. Pecan Kong pie too is a good one. Pecan pie, yes, it's a big favorite on the island. Godzilla pie is a good one too. We love that one. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They're like little Godzilla wheels. Over easy, please. With a nice Chianti. Yeah, it's kind of going in and out a little again. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Good. Gotcha. Two of them. No, man, they were frightening humans, but they were cool. No, I loved them, man. Sister Marjorie Fish and just Judith O'Connor were just great folks, man. They were good people too, fair people. I loved them. Yeah. Oh, easily, or like, yeah, or have my shirt off. Yeah, or have like because I wore like guinea tees underneath. So I mean, like I was Rocky or something. Hey, yo, Adrian, how you doing? Hey, Father, how about it giving me another one? Just give me one for good luck. How you doing? Yeah. Can I only do one? Can I do one rosary versus two rosaries? I want to say, yeah. It's just the Marjorie Fish get you around the neck. It's over. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Sports pages are filled. They really are, man. It's a great time. You know what else it is, too? It's really cool on how the content has now collided with many things that are going on in mainstream media. Like the Aaron Rodgers story that I brought up a couple segments ago. I mean, hearing broadcasters say, and I always thought this too, I'm like, so you're really going to hold him not being vaccinated against your evaluation on whether or not he's going to be the most valuable player in the NFL at the end of the year? Some will. Some have already made it very clear that they would. Think about that, for instance, and just think about that for a second. How you can be swayed or have a change in how you perceive that person that you're covering. Is that your job? If you don't like that person's politics, if you don't like that person's judgments in certain things, Maybe they get arrested for something. I don't know what it is. Is that a person that votes on an MVP, or is that a person that covers a politician? How does that play in your own personal? When I was taught broadcasting back in the day in journalism, we were always told never to put ourselves into the equation of covering a story that we were going to cover. Either writing it down as a newspaper column, unless you're an op-ed person, or you were putting a package together, a TV story. When I first got into broadcasting, you know what my first jobs were? They weren't in radio. They were in broadcast television. They were in like local TV. I did local TV in Vegas at KTNV 13. Then I got a job at KGO Television in San Francisco. And I even worked at the legendary Channel 2, the Fox affiliate in the Bay Area. One of the absolute legendary places. This is where I cut my chops. And these guys were always very clear to me to always make sure when I was covering a story, don't add your opinion. You can lead it somewhere, but don't give your opinion on whether or not you think this person's guilty, innocent, or if you think these people will be a success, what have you. I did a story on the Craig sisters, Roger Craig's daughters, former San Francisco 49er legend. And I also did it on the Ward brothers. These guys would go on to win championships in boxing. They're all Bay Area kids. And I always kind of made sure that I stayed out of the, when you're putting a package like that together, you just want the story to kind of tell itself. You don't want to have in any way an influence where you've put yourself in the story. Stand-ups aside, you know what I mean? You're doing a stand-up, you're introducing the story, what have you. But nowadays, guys like Jim Acosta, dude, they're front and center in their stories. They're not reporters. And by the way, those people that are at the White House, I mean, watching those people act, those aren't reporters. Those are activists. You are not asking questions that I give a rat's ass about. So where I'm going with this is like this story with Aaron Rodgers has really bugged me. That Skip Bayless on Undisputed today and Fox Sports would say that Aaron Rodgers has disqualified himself from being considered for the NFL's MVP award. Thought about that all day, and I'm like, man, can you imagine one's personal decision that has nothing to do with you in your life? You'll never run into him in your lifetime when you run into Aaron Rodgers, unless you want to, because he doesn't want anything to do with you either. And for you to say that, to smear the guy's name, you think you have that right to do that? Or is it because you believe in your own hype and your ego is just too big and you think you're this, that you don't really look at the collateral damage something like that causes? What about people that are still deciding whether or not to get vaccinated or not, and they want to do their own homework? You're being influenced by a sports guy? Well, I'm not saying that moves the needle for you. But what I am saying is that you have enough of those idiots doing that, and all you have to do is tune on any sports show, any news show, and you have idiots that are not qualified telling you what to do. I've been saying this to you the whole time. My guy Chris O sent an email out like a couple months ago about this. He was so right. And you know what I keep telling people? I get asked advice on how to cover this. Joy Taylor from Colin Cowherd Show asked me how I would cover and how I'm covering the COVID-19. You know what I say? Not my decision. I'm not a doctor. I'm a sports host. That's what I do. My qualifications are putting strawberries inside of a cellophane cupboard little thing here, Ziploc, and zip it up for my daughter's rugby. That's my qualifications. It's tell you guys what to do with this. It's crazy. But yet you have people now saying this guy disqualifies himself because he's not vaccinated. That's reckless. That's reckless. You know what's crazy also about this vaccination? People that are vaccinated are catching it, it seems, at a higher rate. It just seems that no matter if you have it or not, and I'm not suggesting if you are vaccinated, it doesn't help you in the fact if you're not coming down with a bad or worse case of COVID. I'm not saying it doesn't do that. I'm just saying, boy, doesn't it seem that it's, are you sure? See, my question mark on it is this. Is it lowering your immune system? Because when you take cortisone shots, I'm just going to use this as an example. When you take cortisone shots, you know what happens after a while? You have to take a higher dose of cortisone shots because your body starts to adapt to the cortisone, and you have to take a bigger dose of it because your body is starting to understand and starting to accept, and you have to up the dosages. That would be my question here. But no, not for Skip and all. That goes down. Well, he's not vaccinated. I was like, man, what a terrible commentary for this country that sports people are now getting involved and telling people what to do with their vaccination status. All right. This is something that I don't enjoy doing. I don't enjoy talking about somebody who you're starting to see the end of the back nine of their coaching career. I'm not a guy that sits here and says, I want this guy fired. I'm just not going to do that because you know what? I think over the last 2 years, I've learned one thing. And people with jobs, I hope you keep your job as long as you can, as long as you keep producing and you're a winner and you're moving the needle or you're moving the cash register. God bless you, man. Me sitting on the radio going like this. I know some are going, Sileo, is that really you? I get it. No, but hey, man, we've all learned something in these last 2 years here. So Pete Carroll in Seattle came out with a comment and why his football team got beat up by the Packers this past weekend. And he's like, well, the referees helped them out. I'm like, Pete, you got shut out. You were shut out 17-0. It's the first time you were shut out under the Russell Wilson era since he's been in Seattle. You're 70 years old. We're seeing the end of this. When Paul Allen died, one of the kings of Microsoft, they gave Pete Carroll a lot more autonomy to run the organization. And what's happening is that the organization is on fumes now. And we're starting to see the end. He's a Hall of Fame coach. The toughest thing to do is to walk away from the thing you love the most. Because why is that? Because your heart's the last muscle to give out. I tell people this all the time. You think Michael Jordan doesn't have still the same competitive fire inside of him right now at age 58, 59, whatever he is, than what he had when he was 29? Of course not. His body's just deteriorated around him. He still has the same desire to go out there and be a champion, and he probably thinks he could probably still score 21 points in the NBA today. Probably could, knowing what greatness that guy has in him. But you're seeing it with Carroll. They don't run the ball. Quarterback is not sure he likes it there anymore. They can't stop anybody on defense, his forte, and he's just not retooling the team. So at the end, what's happening here? It's running out of gas. It's running out of gas. Pete is a really great guy. He's a great coach. He's one of the very few coaches in football history that has won a national championship, did it at SC, and of course, him winning a Super Bowl. But it's time. The Seattle Seahawks really need to evaluate where they're going. The last couple of years, they've been stumbling. They've not been able to run the ball. They've not brought in good people. He's been given more autonomy when it comes to the draft choices on the team. Isn't it okay to do this? We saw it with Andy Reid in Philly. Maybe Pete goes somewhere else and gets recharged. He is 70, though. How many years can you keep getting up? Let's say this about Brady. Keep getting up and putting a great day's work in. It's starting basically to rear its head here. Okay? You're seeing it now. It's rearing its head. And where I mean with this is, and what I mean with this, it's time to go. Why not bail out while you can? I don't believe Russell Wilson's going to remain a Seattle Seahawk. I think this will be the last year for him there because he's not going to waste his prime years with a coach who's running out of gas. And he's got to see that. And by the way, that's got to be one of the most difficult things to do when you're somebody who he had. Remember, Pete was the one that had faith in him, drafted him in the 3rd round. Everyone said he was too small. Russell Wilson has stayed in Seattle for one thing, because of his loyalty to Pete Carroll. Well, now Russell Wilson has got to do this. He's got to be loyal to Russell Wilson. Does that mean going to Philly? Maybe going to Pittsburgh? Maybe heading to a place like New Orleans that needs a quarterback and wants to win? Russell Wilson in New Orleans would be insane with Sean Payton. It would be insane. And it would save that franchise, because the franchise is a headless football team. They got the Eagles this weekend, but the Saints are so well coached. They just need a quarterback. And of course, when you leave from Drew Brees and you go to Jameis Winston, or you go to Tyson Hill, or you go to Trevor Siemian, whoever you roll out there, it's never going to be the same as Drew Brees. But you put Russell Wilson in the room. Guys, now you have something. Now you have it. So to me, I think the Allen family has to make a tough call here in the offseason. That program is going the other way. It's not a program that's heading in the right direction. They're going to be under 500. And Pete Carroll is a Hall of Fame coach. Isn't it always tough to talk like that about, somebody said something to me the other day about Lee Corso being on game day, and I was like this, dude. So what? The guy's not as sharp as he once was. It's Lee Corso. Let him put the headgear on. It's all good. I get it. Don't be such a tight ass. Well, it's not good network. Oh, you're like a network critic now. Okay. I'm going to give you an example of a player imploding his career. It's not a good sign. We'll do it next. Keep it here on the Dan Sileo Show. I don't know yet. Chef Boy. No, never. Never. Game Day is such a great show anyway. It's all good if he flips up a little bit. Who cares? I love that. That's a great comment. Yeah, no, I love him. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Bottom of the hour, I want to talk a little bit about where teams are right now as we go into this very important Week 11 of the NFL. As I said to you, this is a big weekend for Dallas. We'll hit on that here in a minute. I want to show you something here, though, about team sports and about how sometimes people, they can't see through the weeds. I'm not sure you ever heard of this guy's name. His name is Le'Veon Bell. It's an example I want to make to you here. So Le'Veon Bell was on his way to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Pittsburgh. He was considered one of the best running backs and dual threat backs the league had. 1,500 yards rushing, 700 receiving. This guy was just unreal in watching him play football with the Steelers. And him and Antonio Brown, all of a sudden, because these guys' numbers were becoming so big. I mean, Antonio Brown, just a couple weeks ago, still the fastest guy to 900 receptions. And it was all because of what he did in Pittsburgh. He's now down in Tampa Bay. Where I'm going here is, so Le'Veon Bell sat out. He wouldn't sign a $15 million a year contract with the Steelers. He basically ate that money, threw it in a trash can, and lit it on fire. He demanded he be traded, so the Steelers accommodated him. You see, one thing about the Steelers, they don't care who you are. They're not going to be held hostage by players. They've got a formula on how they do things. You want to be a cancer inside the locker room with your petty ways? They're going to get rid of you. So they did. He's now homeless. He doesn't have a team to play for him. Ravens just released him. And this guy was considered 3 years ago one of the better backs in the sport. It just shows you that no matter who you think you are or how important you think you are to a team, if you think you're bigger than that concept, they're going to run you out of town, and they don't need you. And the NFL will run right past you. That's how they've operated. That's how they'll always operate. I mean, no matter what you think you are. Antonio Brown, on the other hand, you know what he did? Remember he got all in trouble with the police and all that? Steelers ended up kicking his ass out too. Right? They ended up throwing him out. Well, he hitched his wagon to Tom Brady. And Tom Brady has resurrected that guy's career. Now he's got a Super Bowl ring, and he may have an opportunity for another Super Bowl ring. Antonio Brown is possibly going to resurrect his career to get it back into the Canton lane. Right now, he's in the very great lane. He may be back in the Hall of Fame lane again. But that's because he had common sense to figure it out. Wow, I'm ruining my career here. See how some guys see it? Some guys don't? Le'Veon Bell right now is not even 30 years old. 3 years ago, he was considered the best back in the sport. They wanted to pay him like that. He thought he should be paid what wide receivers and running backs are paid and combine it and give it to him. He held out. It never happened. He was never going to change the pay scale in the NFL. He was never going to. He thought he was. So what did they do? They cut him. That's the NFL in a nutshell. What, you don't think when Tom Brady's juice runs out, they're not going to not do that to him? That league at times is sinister, my friends. Hey, don't forget, it's Wings Day, not just Wednesday. My friends at Hooters in the Valley. When you're in the Phoenix area, buy 20 wings, get 10 free all day, every Wednesday. Dine in, take out, only at Hooters. Great wings. Ice cold $3 Bud Lights and $4 Dos Equis beer. We'll take a look at where we are in Week 11 as we head into it here on the Dan Sileo Show. Oh, it destroyed me. And mentally, too. Yeah, stretched out on the cross. No, I will not. A beating. Nobody says that anymore, you know? It's like old school. Hey, this guy's going to catch a beating. Wow. Rough room. No, 0. Shut up, guy, before I put my boot in your ear. I thought, no. It's Dan, not A. My name is not A. Hey, Liam, shut the hell up. Oh, yeah, I know. Weak around the gills. weak around the gills. I hear you. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Wow. Yeah, real. I am. What? Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Interesting time in our country right now. It is. Isn't it funny how people when you send an email now, or you send a text message, or you do anything social media wise or mechanically on your phone? Aren't you hypersensitive now in some of the stuff that you send? Because you want to make sure that it's appropriate language. Somebody doesn't mistake it for some other meaning or what have you. I find myself, even my friends, I'm looking at it going, you don't think the guy's going to think I'm an a-hole here if I send it? I'm looking at, really, you know what? Maybe it's just me because I send things and I'm just lazy at times because I can't believe that people are so sensitive with certain things. But everybody does now, man. They get sensitive with anything. And get this. This is what people are now starting to do. I saw that guy, Don Lemon, and I don't even know why I had it on because I told you I don't watch CNN, but I flipped through it. And I just happened to catch Lemon go like this. What if this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, was black? And I went like this. Wow. Content must be low, dude. Content must be real low for you to go down that lane. Now, to be fair, right, Chris? To be fair, hang on here now. It is a talk show. It's not a news show. You know what I mean? I mean, him and Cuomo and him and Hannity and Tucker and Laura Ingraham, those shows aren't really news. So I did do this. I went, wow, man. I mean, to flame racism and race and conversation. I guess that, hey, right? The two things that move the needle right now are COVID and race. That's sad, dude. Bro, that's sad though, right? I love it. I love it. Dwight Clark doesn't catch that pass in the back of the end zone. All right, I'm with you, man. How you doing? How you doing? That's right, man. Get over it, man. You're dead right. He's right. You hear him saying that? I love it, man. And he lives in the Hamptons. You know, he takes a helicopter to work. I'm not kidding. What did it have indoor plumbing? No, I used to get on the 5th Street tunnel one, and I used to go like this. Where am I, at Shea? Of course it is. I'm always going to take shots at Mets fans. Yeah. Yeah, but that's not going to get you numbers here. All right, let me look into Week 11 here, the NFL here. Let's do this here. What I like to do is I like to tell you that where teams are. We're right in the middle of the season now in the NFL, and we pretty much know an identity. But I will say this: I have never in my life seen the National Football League as talented with players all over it as I have right now. It's the most competitive the NFL has ever been. Even the crappy teams are rising up. Look at the Lions. They tie a Steeler team that's still in the playoff race. The Cowboys get trounced by the Broncos. Tom Brady gets his face kicked in by the Saints, and then he gets kicked in by the Redskins. Really? All these teams are rising up, whether you're 4-6 or 6-4, it doesn't matter. But who are the pretenders and who are the true contenders now as we're getting into the meat of the season? We got 7 games left, folks. I kind of have an idea, and I think an identity for some of these teams, and I'm going to give it to you here. I want to start in the AFC, and I'm going to start with the Bills. I think this football team sitting in Buffalo, New York is the best team in the AFC. I love their coach, Sean McDermott. I think their quarterback, Josh Allen, is talented. I think they're good on defense. You know, they're kind of putting around a little bit, but they're 6-3. And that football team, in my opinion, from top to bottom, coaching staff-wise and everything, I think that's your best football team in the AFC. The New England Patriots are 6-4. You want to hear this, what Belichick has done? That team, I can't say this to you. They're not a top 5 team in the NFL. That team is capable of beating anybody. And why is that? Because they're so well coached. That's a well-coached team. That's a good team. That's a team that's getting better and better and better. Every week I watch them play. This kid, Mac Jones, they got from Alabama, sensational. Now, I'm not going to look at these crappy teams like the Dolphins and the Jets. Okay, the Dolphins are going nowhere. Even though they had a great victory against the Ravens, they rose up. They had a nice win. Shows me this, though. They didn't quit on Brian Flores. That was a nice win this past Thursday. The Jets, 2-7, they're the Jets. That's an organizational issue inside that building. I've said it before, and I'll say it again to you. And actually, I'm tired of saying it. Over in the AFC North, this Baltimore Ravens team has the most electric player I've ever seen in pro football history at the quarterback position. That's Lamar Jackson. As I said, they tripped up and got beat on a short work week. They had to go on the road. It was humid. They go into Miami and they get upset. But see, I look at teams for the overall body of work of what you've done. Like, you know, in my business and radio, you can't gauge a show by one show. We call these things books, and we call these things 3 months. They like to have 3-month periods where they can evaluate in what you're doing in that particular time of the year, fall, spring, winter, you know, all that. You can kind of get a gauge of what you're doing. I usually think it takes around 18 months to get a real good sense of what a radio show is doing locally. National is different. There's other variables to national radio. But local radio, 18 months. If you're not moving the needle, it's time to go. Or there's something that needs to be changed drastically. And so that's how I look at NFL. I look at a body of work. This Ravens team's good. They can win the Super Bowl too. I would think that Baltimore's probably your second best team in the AFC. Pittsburgh, they got in trouble. And they tripped up against the Lions. They're 5-3-1. They would have been in the same room with Baltimore, at least record-wise. I think that tie is going to come back to haunt them as you're running down a position to potentially get to the postseason. Remember, 7 teams, only 1 bye in each conference this year. Cincinnati's at 5-4. I love what Joe Burrow's doing. Do they still have a shot at making the postseason? I do think so. They're wobbling a bit. They need to run the ball better. Cleveland, they got a quarterback problem. You know, in 54 starts, I know now what Baker Mayfield is. I know who he is. Okay. He's a guy that can't win big games. It's just facts. Nothing personal against the guy. He just can't win big games. Can't. That guy is. But watch this. I'm not saying that would throw him out of town, too. I am not saying that at all. But I'm not giving him Dak Prescott money. $42 million. That's not happening for me. In the AFC South, Tennessee's got the best record in the AFC right now. They're 8-2. It's probably the best coached team in the AFC and one of the best coached teams in the NFL. They've lost Derrick Henry and they're still winning ball games. It's remarkable what they're doing. Mike Vrabel is the most underrated coach in the NFL today. And he demands toughness, execution. They're ahead of the curve when it comes to putting game plans together. I really like that team. Got the Colts. Look at what Carson Wentz is doing. They're sitting at 5-5. They've rallied the troops after a horrible start. They got out of the gate real poor, especially in the first quarter poll of the year. Now they're at 500. Wentz is playing better. Jacksonville, again, Houston, those are teams that are completely in rebuild. And I do think Jacksonville's getting some. I do think that they're getting good effort. I think the win that they had a couple weeks ago, I think that you're seeing Jacksonville do some things. Out in the West, it's pretty crazy here. Kansas City and Cowboys play this weekend, as I told you. And I'll say it one more time to you here. Kansas City, okay, has all the intangibles to get back to a Super Bowl and potentially win one. This is a big game this weekend. Dallas versus KC. Both these football teams, one you're not sure of, the other you're not sure of. Aren't we still doing this about Dallas? They'll have a nuclear meltdown. They'll lose 2 in a row. They'll come back down to the pack. Aren't we still doing that? I don't know if that's the case this year. Kansas City's the one I'm more concerned about going into this game. Chargers, Raiders, and Denver, all teams at 500 or better. How about that for you? That West is pretty damn impressive. The West is still wide open. Chargers can win it. I love Justin Herbert. They're wobbling a little bit. The Raiders, I can't believe they're still in the conversation at 5-4 with everything that's happened this year. You know what? I'll say this to you too. That has to be one of the most embarrassing seasons in the history of Raider football. Al Davis must be spinning in his tracksuit. He just, it's incredible on how bad the perception is and how poorly run the Raiders are right now. That used to be one of the bell standard teams in the NFL on how you run a franchise. It's a laughingstock now. You get a TV GM and Mike Mayock. Come on, man. Let's go over to the NFC and we'll start in the East with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are the best team in the NFL. So I guess what I'm saying right now, on November 17th, Cowboys and Bills once again in the Super Bowl. Wow. You talk about ratings. Bills Mafia, Cowboys, Super Bowl, Los Angeles. Dallas Cowboys in LA at the Super Bowl. Hey, anything that's on that night, you should cancel if it's going against the Super Bowl. If the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl, it'll be the highest rated Super Bowl in the history of the game. Jerry's team finally getting back. Will Jerry get a ring without Jimmy? Because that will start to be the narrative. Wow. I'm rooting for Jerry. I'd like to see Jerry Jones get a Super Bowl ring without Jimmy. They're 7-2, by the way. The rest of the division, not very good. Eagles are 4-6. They are playing better, though. They are playing better. Washington just took apart the Buccaneers. Right? They just took apart Tom Brady. That Washington team, they lose Chase Young. That was a bad play. And the Giants aren't very good. Dave Gettleman needs to be fired, their general manager. The Cowboys are the best team in the league right now, man. In the North, the Packers, though, are right there. Probably the second. I would say your top 3 teams right now are Cowboys, Packers. I think you could flip them. And then the Bills. Those would be my 3 teams. Green Bay's great. 8-2. Aaron Rodgers is 8-1 on the year. Like I told you before, this guy has won so many ball games. I mean, it's utterly remarkable in how many ball games that this guy has won over the last couple of years here with the new coach, Matt LaFleur. Rodgers playing MVP football. Minnesota hanging around. Love Rick Spielman, the general manager. He's a dear friend. Bears and Lions, but around dissecting loser teams is not something we're going to do here. The South, isn't it funny? The Bucs are sitting at 6-3. Doesn't it seem like they're having a bad year? There's a lot of injury. The Buccaneers are the oldest team in the NFL. Obviously with the oldest quarterback, but they're the oldest team, and it's showing. Tom Brady looked old last week against Washington. He did. It was the first time I went like this, coming out of a game. Man, Tom looks old. Saints are so well coached. They got the Eagles this weekend. They just don't have a quarterback. Trevor Siemian is not an answer to anything. Carolina got a little bit of an injection from Cam Newton coming back, huh? Touchdown pass, touchdown run. Carolina, man. That's kind of like a nice little injection into the organization. Cam saying he's back. That was a great win over the Raiders, man. They're 5-5. I like them. Atlanta's sitting at 4-5. They're still trying to figure out what went wrong in that Super Bowl against the Patriots. And out west, Arizona, 8-2. Kyler Murray's been injured, but man, that's a good-looking football team. How about the Rams? I still think they're a good team. I think they're in the conversation. 49ers are decent. Seattle, 3-6. Their season is absolutely over. I want to talk about Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell you why. This guy's the best quarterback maybe in the league. We'll do it next. Oh, ye of little faith. Wow. Wow. Dickens. Wow. I know you do, Chris. Good night. Easy, easy. I hear you. My God. I love you, man. Out of sight, out of mind, baby. Why don't you go get my shoes? You know why? Because I took them off after I kicked your ass all up and down the hallway in your office. Kid, you need an oxygen mask right now, okay? Because I think the oxygen is like cut off to your brain right now. See, it's very unfair anytime that a board up, gets the last word in on you because he pushes the buttons. Dan Sileo, USA Radio Network. Hope all are having a absolutely great night tonight. We are, for sure. I made a comment to you about Dak Prescott being the best quarterback in the game. I know some of you are saying, come on, Sileo. Brady's in the league. Aaron Rodgers is in the league. Russell Wilson's in the league. There's really great quarterbacks that are playing great ball right now. Why would you say Dak's the best? He hasn't even won an NFC championship game yet. Look at the job that Matthew Stafford's doing. I understand this. But let's take a look at Dak's resume here. Maybe some of the things you're not really looking at. Dak Prescott is the starting quarterback of an NFL team. I'm writing this stuff down here. Dak Prescott is not just a starting quarterback of any NFL team. Dak Prescott's the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. What does that exactly mean? That means the nation has its eyeballs on you. It's like when you play for the New York Yankees and you're Derek Jeter, or you're Mickey Mantle, or you're Reggie, or you're whomever, Mariano Rivera. You're looked at differently. I've said this to you before. It's one thing to be Robin Yount, phenomenal ball player too, by the way, for the Brewers. Just a great ball player. I mean, Robin Yount was a great player. I mean, you talk about one of the absolute best ball players there is during my lifetime. He was it. But he played in Milwaukee. How about this one? George Brett was one of the greatest baseball players, maybe one of the greatest third basemen to ever play the 5 spot. But he played in Kansas City. When you play at places like Green Bay, Dallas, the Raiders, the Yankees, the Lakers, the Celtics, you think winning a championship, I'll even give you one better. You know Steph Curry winning those championships at Golden State? That's great. Steph's a Hall of Fame player. Wonderful. You win championships in Los Angeles with the Lakers, you're looked at differently. You're looked at one of the absolute, truly greats of the game. That's what Dak is playing for right now. Think of how Dallas looked prior to Dak getting there. Constant inconsistency. Romo was a turnover machine. And you know what's really starting to rear its head? Stability. Remember I said this to you. I don't know if you guys remember this. You know the Cowboys were isn't it hard to believe? The Cowboys were the Hard Knocks team this year. Do you even remember that? They were the most boring Hard Knocks team I've ever seen. They were all boring episodes. There was nothing intriguing about the team. And I'll never forget, I said this to somebody. I go, this may be a precursor to something truly great with this team because they're not looking to make waves. They don't want the headlines off the football field anymore. They want the headlines to be on the field. And it's starting to translate. And why is that? Because that guy is making it happen. I don't think it's about throwing the prettiest pass. I don't think it's about now. I do think it's about winning ball games and championships. You got to win in Dallas if you're going to be considered one of the true greats. See, I look at Tony Romo and I go like this: underachiever. I don't care what Jerry tells you. The quarterbacks in Dallas history are Staubach and Aikman. Case closed. No one else. No one else. The rest of them are just filler. And Danny White was a fine ball player. Romo was a fine ball player. Bledsoe was a fine ball player. Doesn't compare to those other guys. They're a different set of standards there. And that's what Dak, can you imagine what Dak would mean and what it would mean to the Dallas Cowboys if Dak Prescott leads that football team to a Super Bowl after all the courting that went on, whether or not they were going to sign him to a long-term contract extension? And then it would have been this. Jerry would have made another move in his illustrious Cowboy career that would have paid off as a champion. You draft this guy in the 4th round. You're going to pay him $82 million this year. You know that? With his signing bonus, he gets it. And it's $42 million. That's pretty remarkable. I'm pulling for Dak. Truly, this is a big game against Kansas City this weekend. All right, we'll reset. A lot more to hit on. You keep it right here on the Dan Sileo Show.